Okay, if anybody is wondering, it's still hotter than heck outside. Kind of miserable, to be honest. Hot and humid and windy. Feels like being in a pressure cooker. But we're gonna try to go back to, or we are gonna go back to side dressing that today. We're not gonna try, we're going to. So we got to get the applicator hooked back up. Don't know if I gotta slide my drawbar back in or not. I had to slide it out for the baler. I don't think I do. I don't think there's anything. I'll slide it back in just to be sure, but I don't think I have to. But I don't want to get hooked up and then find out I do. So we got Earl. Yeah, we're pretty much, or we're sitting pretty good now. Hay's caught up, spraying's caught up. I gotta go do some touch-up stuff on some beans and some corn, but that can wait. I mean, the corn probably needs to get done closer than that to now, but applicating is more important. And beans, they can happen after wheat or whenever. It's not really, they're not really tall yet, so but it's all spots that, like around edges and stuff, where he didn't hang the boom out far enough. But I'd rather he not hang the boom out far enough than hang out too far, because then I get dirt, then I get bad phone calls and gotta deal with that. So, but the plan, and I gotta check and see how much 28 I got left in this here tank real quick. I got about 60 in there. Oh, and this is, can't read the tape that far, but that's probably like 700-ish gallon. So, I think, what's that? What do I need? If I want to do all these, or both these fields today, what do I need? What do I need? 12, 16 times, need about 600. Oh yeah, so we got plenty. So, I got a 12-acre piece right down the road and around the corner here that I want to do, and then a 4-acre piece over yonder, which I got enough capacity. Teeter, what are you rolling in? That we can just fill and drive over there and do it and come back. Anyway, the 12-acre piece is going to take 2 loads, and there's not a good place to park the nurse tank over there without, you got to drive out in the field to get turned around because it's tight. And I don't want to run over that much corn, so we're just going to work out of here. I'll fill here, we'll drive over, run a tank out, come back. We'll do it that way. It'll be easier. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. Get hooked up and filled up, and we'll skedaddle. But we got, today's clear, tomorrow's clear, and then we got chances Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or chances of rain Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, depending on which sources, Saturday and Sunday. But it's the highest chance is 50. With the heat and the humidity, it's probably just going to be scattered pop-up stuff. It probably won't be widespread. We might get some widespread bands through here, which we could use some more rain. I mean, we're not in dire need of it, but I'd like to get it before we're in dire need of it. So we could use more rain. If we get some, it'd be nice. But, and we're dry enough. Like, we had that 3/4 ounce, anywhere between 3/4 and an inch-ish last week, and we're right back to workable. I mean, we were right back to workable like a day and a half after. The ground's taking it beautiful, so it's not like we're, honestly, we're in that kind of perfect, I don't want to jinx it. Where's some, We're kind of in that sweet spot where we've got enough moisture in the ground for the crop, and when we do get a rain, the ground is still not saturated so it can take it and we don't get a lot of runoff. But when we do get a rain, we're not so freaking wet that, you know, a day or day and a half and you're right back to doing what you got to do. And then depending on what you do, like spraying and whatnot, you can get an inch of rain, we're right back to work the next day. So as far as conditions go, like I say, I don't want to jinx it, but we're, compared to the last 2 years, we're looking pretty good around here, in all honesty. Probably could have done without this heat wave we're in right now, but the corn is liking it, which, as long as it gets cool during the night, we're good. If it starts getting over 80 or starts getting to and staying over 80 degrees at night, then corn don't like it so much, or nothing really likes it so much. So, but let me slide that drawbar in real quick, and we'll get after it. Alrighty. Must have got her a little on the full side. She's dripping out the lid. The only thing that's kind of a pain about this, especially when you got to do a lot of folding and unfolding, is having to pin the wings. I don't fully understand, and maybe if this was a cultivator still and all the row units had their own gauge wheels and whatnot, you didn't need the wings pinned maybe. But because there wasn't any pins with it, I had to make the ones that I've got. But at least with the coulters on there, if you don't pin it, the wings ride up, the center section digs in, and then you got the outside ones on the wings are out like almost on top of the ground. So you got to pin it to get the whole weight of the frames evenly across. But it's not terrible. And here we go. for tank number 2. Nice part about loading here is at least you're loading in the shade. Probably easily feels 10 to 15 degrees cooler when you're not in the sunlight right now. Field is done. This is probably the best this field has looked easily in the last 3-4 years. Just the complete lack of deer damage is amazing. But between what the EHD killed last fall, and then they also killed 5 deer out here in season, in hunting season last fall, winter, whenever hunting season falls. Larry said he's only seen 1 deer out here, and it's not even out here every night. So now all you're dealing with is the kind of crappy-ish stands on the hills, that hill out back, which I've tried ripping them. Chisel plowing doesn't make a difference. These hills, both this hill and the one out in the back corner, they are just solid clay knobs. There's not a whole lot you can do with them. The only 2 things that I could think to try, which I'm going to try one hopefully this fall, weather permitting, is get some cover crop rye on it, which I'd like to try, maybe, hopefully, if the weather cooperates this fall. Get some rye on it and plow it in the spring. Or, and the part that's harder for me to do because I don't have easy access to it, is come out here and haul a hay metric shit ton of manure onto these hillsides and try to get some organic, because that's what they need. They need manure. If between the 2 of them, manure would probably be the best and quickest to fix these hills. But like I say, I don't have easy access to enough of it. So ryegrass it is, hopefully, maybe, fingers crossed. So, but go back to the house, refill. Tank's almost empty, so we can get the nurse tank empty and go do that last 4 acres, and I'll be out and probably try to get the tractor moved over to my uncle's tonight, because that's where we'll go tomorrow. So off to grab more juice. field's done. It's looking good. Really, all the corn this year so far that I've been over is looking really good. As long as the critters stay out of it and we keep getting rain, it should be a fairly decent corn year. So, and then I'm looking here across the road at all that volunteer wheat. I'm half tempted to talk to Brandon and say, hey, I know we're not having it farmed, but you mind if I just come over and run that wheat again? I mean, there's enough of it there, even if it only made 10 bushel an acre. You ain't got nothing invested in it, so it's all profit, right? Other than the fuel. But anyhow, I am going to run this thing over, park it at my uncle's so it's ready to go for tomorrow, and probably call it a night. I gotta get that black permit printed off and get it filled out tonight, so I gotta try to get a hold of the lady tomorrow because there's a few questions I have on the form, and then get it sent in to him tomorrow. So we will catch you guys tomorrow. All right, back to side dressing. Obviously, we just had a pop-up thunderstorm blow through right as I was getting off of work. I mean, when I say pop-up, I mean you couldn't have come out of nowhere more than what it just did. I got a tent at my place down at work. We had maybe a 1/4 inch. I know we got more down there. It's just it came so hard and so fast, it's hard to tell how much more. It probably only lasted 15 minutes tops. But there is still a slight chance of another, well, that one might swing through here. So I'm going to, she's good on oil, so I'm going to put fuel in the tractor. I think I got enough in my tank, and drop the nurse tank, and I'm gonna go, I gotta go finish doing some stuff for that deer damage permit, get that sent in, let the rest of these storms blow through, and then we'll come back and hit it. Should be able to get hopefully the front 20 done tonight. I was hoping to get the whole, maybe possibly get the whole thing done, but I don't think that's going to happen with getting started and having to wait on this rain to blow through and whatnot. But got chances of rain tonight, tomorrow morning, and then it's supposed to be sunny again tomorrow evening. So hopefully get the back parcel done tomorrow evening, and then we'll be down to 2 fields of 4 and 18. So fingers crossed. But we'll see you in here in a little bit when we get to roll. All right, we're finally rolling. Probably gonna end up knocking a little corn down back here. There's not, I should have left myself. I need to do a better job of planning my work areas now that I need a spot to side dress from. But not that it matters. You plan it and then you knock down what you need to. 6 one way, half a dozen the other. But corn looks really good out here. Good thing we're getting on it, because probably another week and a half, it'd be getting away from you, you'd have a hard time getting over it. So it's all good progress. lot of juice. I honestly don't know how I had enough to get. How much is in there? Basically nothing. I don't know how it was still pulling, but it was. Front field's done. I got one set of 8 all the way around the outside, and then all 16 of these ends here. So I got one more horseshoe to run around the outside. And then the end rows along the waterway, and then this field will be opened up. So I'm kind of curious how much is in there. I mean, I ran her right down to nothing. Eh, 10 gallon or so maybe. I wasn't gonna get very much further. So hopefully, weather permitting, we can get this field done tomorrow, and we'll be looking pretty good if I can pull that off. The weather this week is very, as long as we don't get a whole lot of rain, as long as it just showers, we're dry enough, should be able to keep going on it. So we'll just have to see how things play out, fingers crossed. I'm gonna walk up, grab my truck, get hooked back up to the nurse tank, call her a night. So we will catch you guys tomorrow to finish up out here. Okay, hopefully I got enough juice to finish this up. I should. Hopefully get this done by 7. I got a guy coming for hay, and I'd like to not have to go home and then come back. Stick a little oil in there. She is sitting on a little bit of an angle, but pretty sure the guy coming from Australia. I picked up her caller ID, came up, and it was like Gainesville, Georgia or something to that effect, which threw me off. It's like, okay, this is probably a spam call, and then I picked it up and answered it. Definitely wasn't American, and could have been British, but it sounded a lot more like, no, you know, I guess the best way to describe it, at least to an American, is Australians sound more twangy. Pretty sure he's Australian, which is kind of neat. That's not something you, not somebody you sell hay to around here every day. Australia's on my bucket list. One of these days I want to make it down there. But if I went down there, I wouldn't want to go to like see all the touristy crap. I'd like to like go like out to the towns, like, you know, like meet cool people and do not touristy crap, basically is what I'm getting at. Like go see some farms and go do all the small town Aussie shit. All right. Okay, I gotta scoot if I'm gonna get done, so get her filled up and let's get rolling. I'm still gonna fill up off of this side because having the wagon pointed that way has got it pointing downhill so that it, you know, I think it's tilted a little bit. Seems like I had to do that to me once before and had to take it loose and re-rock it. Yeah, anyhow. All right, I didn't quite make it before I got to leave. There's probably 3-ish acres left down over the hill in the short rows in the dog legs, but I gotta get back home for that hay guy. So, and I'm gonna find out where he's from. I'm pretty sure it's Australia. I'm gonna bet money on it, but we'll get back to you. So, but nurse tank's empty, so I can at least take that back home and get it out of the way, and I also have to come back with my pickup. So we'll see you in a little bit. All right, I gotta go grab a couple tools real quick. I was walking over here to the tractor and got a phone call. My deer defamation block permit is approved, so I'll have that here, she said, in about 5 minutes in my email. So that's good. Then I just gotta go get tags and we can start shooting. But I noticed that I got somehow, for some reason, got 3 knives that are touching coulters, so try to get that corrected real quick. But anyway, a guy was after straw, not hay. He was mulching his garden with it. Really super cool. He was Australian. He said he was originally from around Melbourne, Australia, and said he would join the army, Australian Army, when he was 16 years old. Spent the whole time traveling around. He's spent most of his life traveling around Australia and the United States, and eventually he must have had, I didn't ask his whole life story, but he must have had a wife in Australia, because he's got kids in Australia. But he said he met a woman here who he's into growing ornamental flowers for competition, which is not something you'd expect a guy who was in the army to be into. But anyhow, he met a woman here that was into the same thing, and now they're doing it together. So, but super cool dude. Could have talked to him for a minute. So I can honestly say it's probably one of the more interesting people I've met in my farming career. So, but let me get these knives sorted out real quick, and we'll get this last 3 acres finished up, and hopefully yet tonight I want to get the tractor moved up north to my last big field, so I can get that knocked out tomorrow. So, hang tight. About splitting up their last side dressing and putting the last 2 fields in their own video, but you put 2 videos up back to back that are basically the same comment, and the views aren't all that great, so we'll just throw the last 2 onto this video and make it all one. So I'm glad to get out of here. The freaking horseflies are nuts. They've been biting the heck out of me. But anyhow, I'm gonna run this thing up to the next field, and guess we'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, fingers crossed. As long as I have enough juice, I hope we're gonna get done today. I hope. So everybody knows what's going on. Let's just get after it. done. This was the last field planted, and it's by far the tallest corn. Well, the other field of this hybrid's probably right neck and neck with it, but they were both planted the same day, so it doesn't, were they? Yeah, they were both planted the same day. So, but yeah, this $22.99, this stuff's a racehorse. When it gets up and going, it gets up and goes. So, but I got one more field left to do, and I need to be safe about 180 gallon to do it. So we'll put a little bit more in here, and it looks like I'll have some to return. So it helps that I started off, I had about 150, 160 gallon left over from the last field. So top that off, and we'll head on to the next one and try to get this job wrapped up tonight. And here we are at the last field. Luckily there's corn here. It doesn't look too shabby. I don't see any whirl damage, so yeah, there's a little bit right there. But compared to normal, the deer damage is rather light, so that's good. With that, we are done side dressing corn, and this is easily the worst looking field I've been over, and even it doesn't look that terrible. So if this is the worst corn field I got this year, I'm going to consider that a win, which this is generally always the worst corn field I have. Well, except for my grandma's, that field's usually pretty crappy, but I think the EHD hit harder over there than it did over here, so hopefully the deer stay out of that one. But anyhow, I didn't figure it was worth getting a block permit for 2 freaking acres. But anyway, ran out of 28 and ground right at the exact same moment. I saw air going through right as I was finishing up the point rows back there, so that worked out perfect. So tank's empty. I ran it in the ground all the way up from out back just to make sure I got all the lines cleared out and it wasn't even pushing air anymore. So line should be clear, tank should be clear, and go ahead and dump some RV antifreeze in it and winterize it and wash it and get it ready to be put away. So that process is done. The next thing to jump on is going to be getting the 525 out, getting it ready for wheat, because probably another week and a half it's going to be time to cut wheat. So everything's timing out just right. So I guess with that being said, that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Alright, so a little addendum to the end of the video here. Don't mind the weedy garden. That's this weekend's project, now that I'll have a little bit of time to not farm for a hot second. So I pull in with the tractor, whip around, come up here, park. I see 3 little birds running up and down the fence. I'm like, okay, I don't know what kind of birds they are. Surely they'll fly away when I get close enough. They just waddle off down to the end, and then I hop off the tractor and they run back this way. Needless to say, no idea where they came from. There's no sign of the mom. There's no sign of a nest. They weren't here 4 hours ago when I was here to let the dogs out. Don't know if somebody knew that we had chickens and couldn't take care of them and dropped them off. But now we got 3 baby ducklings. No idea where they came from. And they let me catch them. I mean, the first one fought a little bit, but the second 2, they hunkered down. I picked them both up, and don't really have, it's kind of a last minute, don't really have anything good set up to take care of ducklings, so I just threw them in a bucket with some straw for now, and when I get back with my truck, I'll try to get them some grain and some water in there somehow for now, and I guess tomorrow it'll be Shelly's problem. So you never know what's going to happen around here, I guess, right? That's the fun part about farming, I guess. You know, just every day is going to be a little different, or a lot different.